So our made up fake imaginary internet money is better than the government's made up fake imaginary internet money. Go look at the chart. It's that easy. It's got better hours, it's got better uptime, it's got better everything. Except you do have to transfer back to the crappy government stuff often to buy stuff you want sometimes. But who cares when you're up 1,000-fold? Who cares? Can you buy coffee with your Berkshire Hathaway stock? No. Can you buy coffee with your Apple stock? No. But are they very profitable things to have? Yes. So I hope that one, I've taught you how to not get hacked. And two, I've taught you where the profit and where the yield comes from. Because these armchair economists that think like, oh, Bitcoin's a scam because where does the money come from? It comes from the next guy buying. Value storage is very profitable. People want to store their value the best place. This is one of the best places. Okay, well, where does the Ethereum miner profit come from? Same place. Where does the speculator profit come from? Same place.
Folks, welcome back to the Pulse. It is 10:30 a.m. Central Texas time. My name is Matt, and this is Crypto Heartbeat. And folks, I got some good stuff for you today. I want you to understand about meme coins. What do they mean? What have we been taught? What has Richard said about them? We got some exciting. I've curated some content today for you. And I want you to understand what this meme coin frenzy is all about. But I also want to draw some correlations to it because I want you to understand the power of it. But I also want you to understand what we can learn from it. Okay. We can learn a ton, absolute ton. So I think this is going to be really, really helpful for people who don't understand where value comes from in crypto. So if you've got some friends that are like, crypto, I don't understand how that works. This actually is going to be a really good example of that. And so I'm excited to get into the content. But first, before we get into the exciting content, let's say hello to you. It's so good to see you. Dick's Insider, which is a very inappropriate name. And the fact that Crypto Heartbeat understands it is even worse. Matt, you can't talk about Pepe if you don't own any Pepe. Please tell me you have a bag. I do not have a bag of Pepe. I'm just rolling with what is popular to help you understand. I'm just trying to extend what Richard has taught me. And what has he taught me and all of you? How not to get wrecked. So that's really going to be part of the theme of this. But Dixon, I appreciate that very much. Thanks for being number one today. You are number one. Zen Merch Store, good morning. It's nice. It promotes the Zen Merch Store. If you want some Zen merch, I'm sure you could find a store. Good morning to you. Facing reality. What is going on? Godfather J6 back again, and there he is. Ego Foundation. Hello. Hope you're doing well. I owe you an email, which I will do after this stream, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Sam Kemp. Good morning, folks. Sam Kemp all the way from Texas, right? Terrence here. What's up, all? It's fantastic. David Lee, all the way from southwestern Indiana. He came to my dad's funeral. Man, showing the love. This is a part of this story. We're going to be talking about, we might even talk about David Lee in this scenario because it's powerful. This is going to be an important stream for those of you who want to have context for what's going on right now, because a lot of people have FOMO. What's FOMO about? We'll talk about that too. 345, your keys, your crypto NFT. Let's go fire. Awesome. Sandy B, the dude, is here. Hookshot's here. Evo, what's up, legends? Gabriel Gonzalez, hello all. Magnus is here. Crypto Kaz, good morning, fam. You can buy Zen merch with your Zen. Look at that. Utility. Apple. Seepin? Hey, fam. What's going on, Apple? Good to see you. From the Philippines, I assume, Apple. Good to see you so much. Supporting all of our friends across the world. What's up, Matthew? He's making a case for Pepe. No, I'm actually not going to. I'm going to make a case against Pepe. That's actually, I'm giving you the honest opinion. I'm going to make a case against it. Bullish on good stuff. Sandy B, the dude, is here. Anders. Let's see who else is here. Alon, welcome back. Good to see you again. Texan OG Day 1. A lot of people really do need to hear this perspective based on truth and reality. Cheers. Absolutely. It's going to be enlightening. And some of this, you guys are smart enough to understand because it's common sense too. David Lee with the love. Texan Tailgate. What's going on for us? Good to see you. That's a new channel every Sunday at 9 p.m. on the YouTubes. We got a great host in Forrest. He's running the Texan tailgate. And so good to see you. Kesa, good evening, beautiful people. DJ and Dougie Peach is here so we can start a stream. Um, and Eric Greenhouse. First time I've seen you, Eric. Welcome. If I've seen you before, I apologize. Good to see you. Welcome here. Bow, wow, Pulse Doge. What's up? Awesome. We're bringing in other people from all of these hashtags. If you're new to Crypto Heartbeat, I'd appreciate a subscribe, perhaps a like. We could do some things like that. We're close to 10,000 subs and love to get to that number soon. But let's jump into the content for today. Thanks for being here. My name is Matt. This is Crypto Heartbeat, and we talk about all things that matter in life and, oh, yeah, and crypto too, right? You might actually learn something today. Where's Brandon from Rags to Riches? He needs to learn something today. We need to get him in here. All right. So, folks, let's take a look at this. Do you remember this? So when I was a kid in the 1970s, so I was born in 1973, so I'm an old man. There was a thing called a pet rock, and I had the original pet rock. This is like some phony baloney new pet rock. But what were fads? Fads have come and go. Fads, what are they? Well, this is an example of one when I was a kid, right? A pet rock, literally? They convinced you of that? And then, oh my goodness, my kids were right at the perfect age for this one. Fidget spinners. Oh my goodness. I'm going to tell you something. When my kids wanted fidget spinners, they were charging like $8 to $10 each for them. You can get them for like 25 cents a piece now. That fad is over, right? It captured the attention of people for a while. And I remember that. I mean, they just nothing more than a fidget spinner, which what is this? Is plastic weights and I don't know, and like a skate bearing. All right, and what's the other one? Well, of course, the Rubik's Cube was a huge fad. I mean, when I was a kid in elementary and middle school, those kids that could do them real fast? Well, that has obviously become a community and almost like a sport for the autistic. And it is unbelievable how that fad took off. And so you can name a billion of these, right? There's so many different ones, but I want to make a case for, Pogs. Yeah, that's a good one. Pokemon, Cabbage Patch Kids, all sorts of things that capture the imagination. A lot of times it's driven by young people, right? But I want you to understand something about fads. And I want you to understand something that this relates to all these meme coins as well. Okay. And it relates to Hex and Pulse and PulseX and Texan and everything. Okay. But it wouldn't be a good stream unless we heard from the boss himself, and that is Richard Hart. So let's go ahead and listen to Richard Hart as it relates to this topic. Okay. So let's do this. This should be enlightening to you. All right, let's make sure I got this up on screen. All right. He was with Alexander Lorenzo when this one happened.
Our narrative meme of if you hold, you get paid more in the future is more powerful than World Computer, is more powerful than Unstoppable Computer, is more powerful than peer-to-peer digital cash. People knowing that they're going to get more of what they already value in the future is a more powerful meme than any of that crap. And I think that's part of the reason why our price charts beat their price charts. Because you can't beat that meme. Everything else disappears. Oh, you bought a game? You're playing a game? Guess what? People are going to get bored of that game. Oh, you bought a token with what do you call it? Hourglass token that taxes people when they send their coins around. The opposite of efficiency. You want low fees? You want efficiency? A coin that taxes you is the opposite of that. That's maximum fees. That's maximum inefficiency. How do those all go? They all get wrecked.
Yeah.
So you go through all these memes. You're like, how about these L1 ghost chains? Wrecked. So our meme of get paid more by waiting, it's really extremely powerful. And by the way, there's another fundamental here that people don't realize. The deals you get by getting your shares now when the prices are cheap become unavailable to people in the future.
All right, narrative memes. It's nice to hear from the boss, right? What has he been doing this whole time? He's been telling us how not to get wrecked. And so the big warning on this is fads will get you wrecked. because they come and they go. But I want to talk about what an actual fad is. And I want to talk about what is a narrative meme and what is a shared fiction and what is all of this, right? So let's start at the beginning. When we work, somebody gives us some representation of our labor. Okay. So your brow may sweat as you dig a ditch while you drive a truck, or whatever you do. You may be a doctor or a lawyer. Your education is applied with your experience and you put in time, and generally you produce a good or a service. That actually comes from your native creative ability that was given to you by the creator. Okay. So that where is value? Value comes from the sweat of your brow, comes from your creative ability. Okay. So what are narrative memes? Everything in this world is a story. It's a narrative because the creator spoke it into existence, right? It has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end. And everything that we end up believing in, get swept up in, uh, everything is a narrative meme. And you believe in a number of narrative memes, right? Now, Richard talks about them being shared fictions. Now, some of the best memes, and that I would consider that kind of young person terminology. I would really call this a narrative, right? So in my work over the last 20 plus years has been in fundraising. And what is fundraising? I can't tell you how many times I've had to tell people that you have to understand that people buy benefits, not features, right? And we see this in practice, and I think a lot of people are surprised. Wow, why is this meme coin going up so much? Why is this? Why did this catch on, and how did it catch on? Well, there's a lot of reasons for that we could drill into, but I want you to understand the power of narrative. You know, when people say, "Well, you don't have any utility in your token," it's irrelevant, right? So the question ultimately is this: if you buy into any token that represents a story, which is pretty much every single one of them. You're either believing in the future of this leadership as it relates to this utility because you think it's going to have longer staying power. But think about anything in this world. You have to create it in your mind first. It has to originate somewhere. So let's back up on this Pepe craze. Somebody was like, all right, what's captured the imagination of people on the internet and crypto bros worldwide? Well, this kind of Pepe thing. And they're like, well, what if we did something around this Pepe guy? He shows up everywhere. Okay, so that's a known thing. And so they literally thought through this. Wow, that brand's everywhere. Has anybody done a token that way? No. And it's all like this confluence of all kinds of things. How much liquidity? It's not about tokenomics, right? This is a craze. And so it's just about initiating FOMO on people with a shared fiction. And so, we look at something like Dogecoin and we're like, oh, that's terrible tokenomics and it continues to inflate and all this stuff. No one cares. And the evidence is right there. Same thing with this Pepe thing. What do people see? They get swept up into it. I have to have my fidget spinner. And the kids were like that. They're like, I got to have them. I'm like, all right, fine. They're $10 a piece. And this stuff comes and goes. And what has Richard warned us about? These are the things that get you wrecked. Because you know what? So many people love to buy the top. Why? Because green candles are so attractive. They're like, ooh, look at this. But I want to make the case to you that everything is a meme. I would say, though, everything is a narrative story. It's a shared fiction. It might not even be a fiction. It might be true. But you, depending on your background, experience, your culture, all those things are attracted to certain memes. And those memes are just, it might be fun, it may be humorous. But think about this, everything's a meme, even music. So think about popular music, right? Why does something, I remember saying, hey, do you want to listen to Justin Bieber? And like my kids are like, Dad, that's like so 2020, right? I'm like, okay, old man Crypto Harvey. I thought Justin Bieber was cool. No, he's not cool anymore. Oh, really? I didn't get the memo, right? So you think about these things, they come and they go. And, is it fun while it lasts and jumping onto a train and everybody's like get rich quick scheme and all of that stuff? Well, yeah, they are. But here's the big question. And I think this is what Richard is saying. And I want to kind of phrase this in a way that I think is helpful to you. What really matters long term? And so this is why I keep coming back to what is our narrative meme? What's the pulse chain meme? What is the Texan meme? What's the Ophir meme? What's the hex meme? What's the anything meme? Right? And then I'll just give you another example. There's one, the PP token, and then the 9-inch .io, right? It's a story and a meme, right? And they're banking on the fact that you're going to think it's funny that we're talking about my private parts, right? That humor is going to relate to a certain group of people, and they're going to use this dex or whatever. You're being manipulated by narratives. That's what everything is about, right? That's how you control people, is tell them a story, right? The moon landing was faked, right? All these things are stories in order to either control you or elicit something, right? But here's the thing, the very nature of who we are is our storytellers, because in order to create something, we first have to have the inspiration. It's created in our minds first. And then we make it so by manifesting it ultimately by potentially creating it with our hands. So all of this stuff is a shared fiction. Now, on one hand, you'd say, well, really, is everything a narrative? Is everything a shared fiction? Is everything a meme? Yeah, it is. And so let's talk about that. What would you say is the number one ideal backing for a stable coin? Well, that'd be gold. Well, okay, let's talk about gold. What is gold? Gold is a shiny metal that doesn't rust. Okay. And it's scarce. Okay. Can you eat it? No, but it's really rare and we think it has value. Well, you've been told a story about gold. You've been told a story that gold's hard to get out. And you've been told a story that gold is money, right? Just like you've been told hex is money or anything else is money. It's what you believe. It's a shared fiction. But the power of the meme is what happens around it. And what happens around it is amazing. What happens around it is potentially community is formed. Because I want to suggest to you what Richard said in those videos was really, really, really important. When more than one person buys, they're actually storing up value. And so one of the things that Richard understands long term is that memes are going to come and go, but the fundamental part of value transfer and storage will never go away. Why? Because it is the base layer of how we do things in this world. We have to have resources. And so when he said fix the money, fix the world, he had a point. But if you think about this, what is this narrative? Well, on one hand, it's like, I like doggies. Yeah, but that's not why there's a community there. Or I like Pepe. No, that's not why. It's not because you like the meme. It's because a lot of people are buying. And you think that if you buy in, maybe it'll go higher and you can sell and you get a profit. So these fads will come and go. And I think that, people try all kinds of different stories in hopes that they'll catch your attention. But some of the greatest technology and some of the greatest needed technologies never make it. Why? They don't know how to tell a story. It's so classic. All my work and all my fundraising work, everyone got it backwards. They didn't sell benefits. They sold features. But why is Richard Hart been so successful? Because he understands what value is, and he understands that people buy benefits, not features. So let me make a case to you. What was the first marketing campaign that ever happened in the history of the world, at least according to my worldview? Well, that would be in the Garden of Eden. So check this out. First marketing campaign in human history. There's this serpent, and this serpent is talking to Eve. And of course, what does the serpent say? First thing the serpent does is lies and establishes something. Well, we're the two parties here. I'm going to come and I'm going to make you an offer. And in marketing, what we're doing is we're offering someone take our thing. They might exchange money for it, but I want you to want this thing I have. Okay. So first thing is awareness. And then there's a lie generally. So what's the lie here? Well, hey, I got something that if you eat this, but you were told you weren't allowed to eat this. And so I'm going to lie to you and I'm going to say to you, he didn't say that. He didn't say you couldn't eat it, right? You have choice. You have the choice to make. But what did the serpent say in that first marketing campaign of human history? He didn't say, look at this apple. It is shiny. It is red. It is beautiful. And it has a little stem with a little leaf on it. It looks perfect. Did he talk about the features? Did he say, well, this is a Macintosh, or this is a Red Delicious, or this is a Fuji apple, and it tastes so good? No. What was the offer? If you eat this, you will have your eyes open and you will be like God. Hell of a benefit, huh? Right? A lie? No, he didn't say that. He said you couldn't eat this. No, you can eat this. And then sell a benefit. What's the benefit? Your eyes will be open and you'll be like God. That's a heck of a benefit, right? First marketing campaign that ever happened. It was done right. So benefits, not features. So what's really interesting, what Richard understands fundamentally is human nature. So if you're going to build something, if you're going to build a better Bitcoin, if you're going to build a better token, right? Well, it's about utility. Like, we need to have a utility. No, you're missing the whole point, right? You can capture, maybe if you're lucky, maybe you'll get a viral video out of 1 out of 1,000, and maybe you'll catch the right timing for your Pepe token. Okay. But these things will come and they will go, and they will chew you up in the process. Because guess what? One thing I can be confident of, I'm not good at picking the winners and the losers. I'm not good at timing the market, right? And these are all the things that are trying to draw you off sides and to distract you, right? Oh, you get into this, we can do that, right? And everybody wants to tell you the story. Look, you're missing out. You're missing out. I want you to understand the fundamental nature and why I'm so attracted to the Pulse Chain, to Richard Heart ecosystem, is because you and I understand this is truthful. Richard Heart is exposing it for what it is, and I'm trying to do the same thing for you. What can we learn from meme coins? We can learn a ton. That everything is a story, and everything is a story in order to lie to us or convince us that this is true. Well, what is Pepe promising you? Well, green candles promise you maybe you could win. Well, what are degens and what are people? They're gamblers. It's speculation. But here's the thing. When Richard says our made up internet money is better than the government's made up internet money, and when people say, oh, there's no utility, doesn't matter. Are people buying it? And is it storing value? And are more people buying it than selling it? That's how the price goes up. Period. Now, are there some things that are really good indicators that people look at that they're like, hey, I could catch this ride? Yeah, there are people that are analyzing the market for 4 basic things. Show me something that's new in the last 100 days. 2, show me its uptick or change in the number of people who are holders. 3, show me the liquidity and show me the growth of that liquidity. And 4, show me the price. Show me the money and its delta. Show me the change. These are the things that pop up on people's radars and they're like, buy, right? This is how traders get into things. It's like you come in with some meme and you come in with thick liquidity. That's at least one of those 4 that pops up on people's radar. And so there's a method to all of this stuff. But what is it? It's just speculation and manipulation. What's going to last? So when I came out of college, it was the .com era. It was the .com craze, and everybody had a PowerPoint presentation and a sock puppet. And that was the meme of the day, right? And they bought television ads and Super Bowl ads and all this stuff. And there was a .com for everything. And there were tons, millions and millions of dollars thrown at these PowerPoints and kids just saying, hey, we're going to make this the next great thing. We're going to disrupt this marketplace. But when you back out from the .com era, what stuck around? The things that had long-term viability because they solved a real problem. Okay, so to say that, for example, Hex or Texan or Pulse Chain or PulseX don't have a utility, actually they do. They're an effective store of value, and they have tokenomics that drive buying and holding. Okay, so let's compare this to the .com era. What lasted? Well, when I heard about this thing called Amazon.com, there was this guy, Jeff Bezos, who was selling books. That was it. That was it. And this thing, YouTube.com, you know what it was doing? Oh, you can have 10 minutes of video. You know this Facebook thing? Well, if you don't have an EDU address, you can't join. It's interesting how these things all got started. And there were so many .coms of, toys.com and this and that. So what has actually lasted? These crazes and these frenzies are a story. And some of these stories catch on and some don't. But if you're going to build your house, build it on the rock. And what is the rock? Truth. Build it on something that actually has product market fit. And so when Richard talks about product market fit, you know what he's talking about? We don't play around with meme coins because that is a faulty foundation because those things come and go. If it's your game, people get tired of playing it. It's music, and you're like, this is the greatest song that was ever invented. And then my kids are like, no, you can't listen to Justin Bieber anymore. He's old school. But everything in this life is a story, and you're telling a story too. So, I mean, what's incredible about this is you tell a story to your family, whether you think you do or not. You're telling a story to your mate. You're telling a story to whatever you're doing. You're putting on clothes. I'm telling you a story right now. Who's Crypto Heartbeat? He's a gray-haired guy, and he wears glasses and a jacket every time he comes on screen. I'm telling you a story. And what story do I want to tell you? I want to tell you the story. You can trust me to tell you the truth. But there's all kinds of things. And so people will dress up, right? A sheep in wolf's clothing. You've heard that before, right? We have people all over the place. Vampire attacks. We know that people will use you because you are easily influenceable by the meme. Okay. So the meme, and everybody's got to pick a horse to ride. So what is the meme? Well, the meme generally attracts a certain group of people. Richard Hart came out with Hex at a time when literally, really, I would consider it to be this first phase of smart contracts. And what did he say? I'm going to mimic an existing product. Why? Because people are going to be able to relate to it. Oh, yeah, I know what a CD is at the bank. Oh, this is a CD on the blockchain. So he's using that convention of commonality. And then he's saying, I understand something about this. Well, give people more of something and enable them to monetize their time. It's a great convention, but it is a meme. It is a story. It is a shared fiction. And people believe that and they create community around it. And then David Lee comes to my dad's funeral. I mean, honestly, that's all this whole thing is. So even gold is just a story. Why is it a story? Because people have literally destroyed governments and stolen the gold. What is this base layer of money? It's still a story. It's a meme. They were looking out at these asteroids, and these asteroids have all this gold and silver and all this stuff. And they're like, if we could get one of these things down, we'd destroy the entire gold market. Why? Because we just inflated supply dramatically, right? By mining this asteroid. What if you were an alchemist and you had the philosopher's stone and you could turn, let's say you figured it out at your house in your backyard. You're like, I can turn lead into gold. Well, you might be able to hide that for a while, but when that tech gets out, gold is irrelevant. Right? So there's these delicate things, but it's still a story. And the story can get messed up when the supply inflates. Why do you think De Beers got together to create a cartel around diamond industry? There's plenty of diamonds in the world. They told us a story back in the 50s and 60s. They said a diamond is forever. And they made it the symbol of weddings. That's a marketing campaign, folks. That's a shared fiction. That's a meme. And now when you get married, the girl is like, whoa, I expect a big old diamond ring. Why? Because it's been embedded into our culture. But here's the thing. What's going to last? Is Pepe? Is Pepe the thing? It's going to go the distance. Is Doge the thing that's going to go the distance? Well, maybe. I said to you, look at this thing. This thing, there's still a whole community around this thing. I don't do it, but there's a ton of people who do. So it carves out niches. Why is Dogecoin? I don't rag on Dogecoin. It's not my thing. It's not my bag. I'm not interested in that because my story and what I'm focused on is seeing change in the world that's for the better. And I believe that's the big story of the big meme. But I recognize that it's still a story. So put it in its rightful place. It's not like, oh, this coin is better than this coin. No. What is the story and how does it activate people and does it provide them with hope and does it do what it says it's going to do? That's why Hex has been so popular, right? And without Richard Hart, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because he's helping fashion that story. He's built trust. He's smarter than most people. He's innovating. And then what does he say? Let's fork Ethereum. And people criticize all kinds of things, but here's the end of the day. He's building into these things the fundamentals of human psychology that drives adoption. Give people the world's largest airdrop, copy over the system state. He just knew. I mean, this is a no-brainer to him. Why? Because people see themselves in what they own. And if you say, hey, all that Pepe, hey, all of that Texan, hey, all of that whatever, you're going to get a copy over on the Pulse chain. You're just borrowing from that big story, but you're also telling a broader story, which is about a vertically aligned ecosystem. And a lot of times with a great story, guess what it has? An antagonist, the evil side, right? You have to have an antagonist for things to work well. What's the antagonist of the pulse chain? The CBDCs, right? Authoritarians, globalists, the World Economic Forum, men like Klaus Schwab, right? The devil himself, and Elizabeth Warren, and all these people. It's a story that you believe, and you're like, yeah, that's scary. Digital IDs and social credit scores and authoritarians and clamp it down. Well, yeah. Why does it have more girth for people that are mature? It's because you're like, yeah, I do see this potentially coming, and we need to have an alternative. But Richard Hart is focusing on the things that he knows have long-standing benefit to people. Whereas, what's the benefit of meme coin? Well, you could make a bunch of money or get wrecked. And there's a ton of this stuff out there right now, and there's going to be so much that comes into the space. But I would encourage you to think this. We have it in our community. Everybody wants to catch the meme. But guess what? Your days are numbered. If you're not doing something that is fundamental, that enables people to accomplish something, now, will there be some people who get into something and maybe one of these meme coins does well, like a Doge? Maybe. Yeah, it happens. But it just shows you that the quote unquote utility is irrelevant because it's more buyers than sellers. And it's just a story. And you're like, oh, we're caught up in this frenzy and I got FOMO. I got to buy in. You're just exit liquidity for somebody else. So the question is, when you pick a horse to ride, does it accomplish what you want to accomplish? So the Texan token and people like, David Lee, people like Sam Kemp, people who are like, we got to do something about pushing back on this authoritarianism. We got to push back on the federal government. What if we could unlock a bunch of resources? And guess what it is? It's a story. What's that story? Texas was independent for 9 years, starting in 1836 on April 21st, the Battle of San Jacinto. And for that 9-year period, right, it's self-sovereign independent nation. What if we did that again? Would that help us push back? What if there's no IRS? And you start thinking about, hold on, what would it look like if Texas was independent? What would that mean for my family and my kids and my posterity? What would it mean for us retaining value? What would it mean for opportunity? What would it mean for taxation? We'd get to rewrite the rules because this thing's gotten out of control. And you might think, hold on, that meme not only impacts me, but my children and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. Does Pepe help your grandchildren? I suppose if you got in early and you sold at the top, maybe, a little bit of extra money. But the long-term benefit of this, when Richard's talking about freedom and sovereignty and free speech and transactions and all that stuff, this is the base layer of like the civilized society. Pepe is not. Pepe is not. And so many people are you're drawn off sides. It's just like in the garden, right? Oh, you didn't say that. There's a lie to you. Oh, yeah, you're going to be rich. Get rich quick. Yeah, and people fall for it, and then they get wrecked. These are fads. But even some of the most well-intentioned people, like people that are artists or writing music, dude, you might end up, if you're lucky, on the number one on the Billboard charts for X amount of days, but then it's over and you're an oldie. When you start dealing with things like the fundamental system of decentralized money in the world, that idea is fundamental to our existence. And so when you attach to that, and that's the beauty of Richard Hart, what he gets is that people get tired of memes. And I mean memes in the sense of fads. But he also understands that all of it's just a story, folks, like literally all of it. So let me give you the best possible story. Somebody takes all of the resources, just massive amounts, trillions of dollars worth of resources. Let's say it's gold. I've got all this gold and I'm going to back a stable coin. And if you want this gold, I'll give you ounces of gold or whatever you want. You can redeem it and I'll send it to you in FedEx. Wow, that's amazing. What does it give you? Confidence? Yeah, it's backed by, I know I can get an ounce of gold for this if I pay the spot price in this stable coin. Wow, that's really cool. But what is it? Now you have gold. Can you eat it? No. But Richard said this in his video there. He's like, can you buy a coffee with, Berkshire Hathaway stock? Can you buy a coffee with Apple stock? No, but it's a hell of a store of value. It's the same thing. Once you start reducing this down to its base layer, you recognize that, folks, this is all the same thing, part and parcel of the same thing. But you attach yourself to certain memes and you're convinced of certain things. And the question is, in the world of cryptocurrency where things are mostly about speculation, got to pick a horse to ride. And the question is, how long is your horse going to last? This is very volatile because people get caught up in these things, and we've got communication networks that create fire in a bottle, lightning in a bottle, and pepe, 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 pepe. Nope. Nope. You're going to get wrecked. These are fads. Go buy a pet rock, get a Rubik's Cube, buy some fidget spinners, see how you feel about it, right? Now, some of these things actually make it out, right? I think Dogecoin has built a community. There's people that kind of love the fact that, hey, this is a joke and now it's got some value. But understand this, anything can be successful provided that more people buy than sell and that people know about it. That's the hardest thing to do, is to get people to care. And what does it caring require? A narrative and leadership and purpose and calling and trust. In this trustless world, the key is trust. So the question is, what meme are you about? Texas independence, man. I want my grandkids to have a better life. Okay. It's better than, PP or Pepe. What's its purpose? What are we trying to accomplish together? And how does that galvanize people? And how do we share this in a way that we say, hey, man, I'm going to tell you what, this next go around, when the session 2 years from now, and when we got a bull run, and all the people that have been in the Texan token that care about Texas independence, maybe they're going to have some resources to be able to support candidates that are going to support Texas independence. And that's how you solve big problems. And what about in the Philippines? Oh, people don't have any money. What if we bring endowments to them and resources to them, and we show them that if they get together in community and care about others in addition to themselves, they store value and it can unlock it? Why? Because not everybody sells it once. It's a story. It's a narrative. How good are you at telling a story? Richard Hart's very good at telling a story. Now, he had a little bit of a break from that when he did all the outrage marketing, because it was not congruent of the story. And I think where he's come back to now is to realize, dude, this vision is power. It is fire. What is this story? What is Richard Hart's story? What is the narrative meme here? What is he telling you? He's telling you that your basic human rights are under attack. Freedom of speech, your freedom of movement, your freedom of transactions. We have to have an alternative. And we have a vertically aligned ecosystem in which you can do your business, in which you will not be tracked and traced, and you will not be oppressed, and you won't have to take the mark of the beast. It's a big deal. And it doesn't require a frog logo. I hope you understand. I'm telling you the truth. And the truth is, hey, it's all a story, right? And if you get enough people to buy your Beanie Babies, you sell some Beanie Babies, make some margin on them. Hey, that's the challenge of marketing. But generally, it's driven by a lie, right? But you're tapping into something so visceral for people. There are a lot of people in this world that are addicted to gambling. And they just love the high, because what does it give you when you got into Pepe early, or you got into this thing early? It gives you such a boost. You're looking at the chart. I saw this with X. I'm like, I put in $600 and it turned into 15,000. I'm like, I'd never experienced anything like this before. Like every single day I'd look at my phone and I'd be like, I got like a shot of like endorphins. I was like, this is like power up, man. But I want you to understand, put it in its rightful place and pick a horse to ride. And then if you pick a horse to ride, recognize this. Decentralized finance is not about, like, I tell a story about Texan. I tell a story about Ophir. I tell a story about tokenizing communities. I tell a story about Freedom Swap, a DEX, and I talk about an incentive token. Talk about tokenomics and all of these kind of things. But what is it to do? It's a filter. There's certain people who believe in freedom and sovereignty. There's certain people who care about poverty in the Philippines and care about churches. Not everybody does. It's actually probably a pretty small niche. But here's the thing I've realized. Hex has billions of dollars of value wrapped up in it. And there's only, 250,000 people? Do you know how little of a group that is? So you can have value with 250,000 people, have billions of dollars worth of value, and you've got 6 million in liquidity, and literally people can buy and sell, and not everybody sells at once, and it creates a 10,000x, and people's lives are changed. That's worth doing. That's worth doing. So what is this idea? We create our future by speaking it into existence, just like the creator himself did. He did it in 6 days. We can do the same thing. Why? Because we have the ability to choose. So the question is, are we going to care for one another? Because you can't just do this. You can't say, I'm going to create my coin and I'm going to create my value and it's just about me. No, there's no one else who cares about you. So you have to pick a narrative meme that excites people and might actually accomplish something and gives them hope. And you tie in all these things like, hey, you might get rich, and oh, this might actually defend freedom and sovereignty, and oh, this might do these things. But it just goes to show you, why is it a flash in the pan and why is it a fad? Because it doesn't have that narrative. It's like, hey, it's Pepe, right? Or it's my PP. Ho, 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 I'm 14. That'll last about 14 minutes. And it'll just come and go. And there's so many things. When you build your house upon the sands, guess what? The rains come. So, I mean, there's no guarantees for anybody, for any token, for anything like that. But I think we need to be banking on the fact that this leverage that was created in 1913 with fractional reserve banking and the empire that has literally devoured people across the world and extracted value is about to fail. I'm confident of it. This is going to collapse under its own weight. Babylon's going to burn in an hour. And where's the value going to go? Crypto. And it's going to go, people are going to see trustless yield in this future. Wow, what's trustless yield? Where there's no admin keys, there's nobody in the center, it's just you and the contract. And this value is going to last. And then guess what ends up happening? Just like the .com era, there's this guy, he's got this thing called Amazon.com and he's losing all kinds of money and he sells books on the internet. How's that any good? Well, as they innovated, what did they do? They said, you know what, we're going to be the distribution channel for everybody's products in the world. And we're going to guarantee delivery like in a night. This isn't a business about books. And it's not even a business about selling stuff. It's a business of distribution and delivery. And that's so amazing to me that there will be things that last. What will make them last? Those that believe together in community. And so on David Lee, as promised, I would tell you a story about David Lee. David Lee came to my dad's funeral. Why? Did David Lee want something from me? Or did David Lee say, you know what, because I understand that you're in need, and he was aware of my need, he came to my aid. That's called love, my friends. And he'll give you a hug if you want one too. But I want you to understand this stuff. It's so fundamental that you have to be able to discern what's going to last, what's not. And I'm not saying I like to play poker, man. I like to sit at a table and take somebody's money. It's fun. I'm not discarding it. I mean, everybody's got a degen in them. But I just want you to understand it has to be in its proper place. And that if you're going to put your energy and your creative ability and your proxy for labor and your money into some sort of shared pool, just be aware of what you're getting into, right? You might be getting on the back end of a fad, and you don't want to be on the back end of a fad. You want to be on the front end. But it's degenerate behavior, it's gambling, and it will come and go. And if you can start to discern these things, you can see them everywhere. You can see them everywhere, right? And you can see the desperation in people on Twitter, right? I'm not out there hustling our price chart or hustling this stuff. No, I'm telling you real information and updates because you either believe it or you don't. And you're either going to tell somebody or you're not. People support what they help to create, right? So there is some benefit of giving people these free tokens. And so with the Pulse Chain launch, this system state, mark my words, one of the most genius moves. But the second piece of it, it's not just the system state. It's the fact that PulseX is going to have liquidity. Well, where'd the liquidity come from, Crypto Heartbeat? $1.6 billion sacrificed? What do you think that's for, folks? Do you think that's for Richard's like watches? You're wrong. It's like $600 million sitting in DAI. Where's that going? That's going to fuel the Pulse Chain and fuel PulseX. Because thick liquidity is so critical because there's no point in having it if you can't get your money out. This is a powerful idea that potentially could be an alternative to authoritarians. This could be the antidote to authoritarianism. Why? Because we have decentralized finance. And if we support a vertically aligned ecosystem of the Pulse Chain, Bob's your uncle. And you want Bob to be your uncle. That's a good thing. So, in summary, what can we learn about meme coins? Everything is a narrative story from the beginning of time because we speak things into existence. And some people believe a story. Sometimes that story is true. It doesn't have to be. There's all kinds of stories that you believe that aren't true, right? What do you do? What do men do? What do players do? They tell you a story about who they are. And then, you convince the girls to do whatever it is. And what ends up happening? They're disappointed because you lied to them. So let's build our house upon the rock. Let's understand what is more stable and long term. And Richard Hart gets that. That's why he says, "Hey, guys, don't fall for these. Don't fall for these fads." Now, if we understand that we win together and that we're dealing with the fundamental pooling of assets in DeFi, and what ends up happening is we create our own future. Well, it doesn't have to be a fad. It's like, no, lock up your stuff for time. It's easy to understand. Monetize your time and pick a horse to ride. But there's always going to be flashy objects. There's always going to be, something that's pumping. And you're like, man, I missed out on that. Don't worry about it. Be in the game, but be able to discern what game to be in and what horse to ride. And that's what I wanted to bring to you on this stream, is to understand that this meme stuff right now, these are memes. They are fads. And you might be like, hey, people that got into Dogecoin, I know a lot of people are like, hey, it worked out. I don't care about the doggy logo. I just care that I have more money. Fine. But the beauty of this is there's no utility. It doesn't have to have utility. It's speculative. But at some point in time, you're going to be able to use it as a means of exchange. It's going to auto convert to something. And there is a future. And this is the big hope. Right now, you have to go to fiat. In the future, you won't have to go to fiat, folks. And the fact that we've accumulated this value in these places just means it's stored it for you. The future is going to be all digital. I just don't want it to be CBDC digital, where I've got to take the mark and they can basically shut me down if I don't say the right thing and I don't believe what they believe. This is so much more consequential than that. Is that what Pepe is accomplishing? I don't know. It might be fun for you right now, and you love to get like charged up by the endorphin excitement. Man, I've been in the bear market and I need something to give me a shot because I don't have peace in my heart. So I got to go get it somewhere else. Fine, gamble. I mean, go put it on black on roulette. It's fine. And that's the thing. No financial advice, just discernment, wisdom. What is this stuff? What are you going to build your house on? What is long term? What's valuable? And this is where Richard Hart's like, how is it possible that these people that have Pepe tokens or whatever it may be get all these followers and all these things, but telling you the truth isn't so popular? Because guess what? I do not want to remember nothing. I want to go back into the matrix. La, 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 la. I don't want to hear the truth. But guess what? You passed the IQ test. You got into this thing. And folks, we are so close to the Pulse Chain launch. And I want you to understand it is not just about you getting rich. Richard Hart said to me at the PulseCon when I interviewed him, he said, cryptocurrency is the only thing that I know of that can increase your freedom and sovereignty and get you rich at the same time. I like that narrative meme. Because guess what? It's not saying to me, do my thing or convince you to sell you this product. It's saying, hey, the power is in your hands and you get to choose. So make a choice. So buy whatever you want, right? But understand that you're associating with those things and you're believing in those things by committing your resources to those things. You know what? Beanie Babies were popular, man, right? Pokemon was popular. Fidget spinners were all the craze. And then it was those popping things that were like pimples or whatever, all kinds of things. And remember friendship bracelets and pet rocks and cha-cha-cha-chia, right? These things capture the imagination for a time. Or that hit song, you're like, oh man, you remember that song? Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. There's some people who still like it. So nostalgia works. But at the end of the day, understand everything is a story that's being told, and you have the job to discern those things. But then also understand the power of tokenizing communities. What are we doing and why are we doing it? Because we know the power of people in agreement and what it means. I think it's better to tell people the truth than a lie. But people come together around that and it unlocks value. We've never had this happen in human history. The government's controlled the value in the past, and now it's decoupled from the war machine, and we can come together in community and unlock our own value. So let's go to the place where people have trust, and let's get those no coiners into crypto, onto the Pulse chain, so that we have a vertically aligned ecosystem so they don't get wrecked. It's a hell of a story. It's a hell of a story. That's what you're a part of, folks. You're not chasing the latest shiny object, right? Or something like, well, if you mint this thing and everyone that is a bot can mint this thing, and then you buy this thing or buy this thing and we burn this thing, but then on Wednesdays of leap year, you got to hop on your left foot in order to do this NFT, and then you trade this NFT for this derivative, and then this derivative turns into this, which burns this thing, and then by the time that you figure this thing out, it's over. Everybody is wanting to sell you some snake oil. You have to discern what's the right horse to ride. So don't get caught up in this frenzy, because guess what? You have to understand the times that we live in. I've lived through multiple cycles now, and what do I see? Same stuff, different day. Dumb young people getting caught up in a craze, in a fad. And there'll be some people like, I'm a Pepe millionaire. Good for you. Congratulations. There's a lot of different ways to do it. This is amazing time because everything is changing. The entire financial system is changing. So don't feel FOMO. No. Have conviction. Choose the right thing. Build value. And then if you care about something, shill it. Take responsibility for it. In DeFi, there's no centralized party. There's no centralized organization. There's no marketing department. So get on it. Do your part. Pump your own bags. That's why I started this channel. And 2 years later, it's like, Pulse Chain, what about May 15th? Maybe 15th. Be great. Maybe tomorrow. At some point, it is going to launch. And folks, this is going to be monumental. But then you got to wait, right? So what are you doing while you're waiting, right? I'm looking at all my Pepe memes. They make me so happy. Folks, thanks for joining the Pulse today. My name is Matt. Let's get back into the chat, and then we'll say farewell to you. I hope that brings you value. I hope that perspective is something to understand about narratives and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to go way back here. We got a lot of comments. Thanks for being here, folks. 88 people here. Even Briz is here. What is up? The Biz with Briz. You know, Briz is one of the literal original OGs. All right, this is going to be fun. I can see this. I'm going to start here. Hornet UK 1, back again with the When Lambo. I love it. Thank you for reminding me of that. Hans, what's going on? Narrative can be utility. That's exactly right, Hans. It is a utility if it actually is accomplishing something. Look at the political action of this stuff. That's a narrative. It's a story. What if Texas was independent? You're tying yourself to so many other things that potentially you might care about, but you also have to understand that not everybody cares about that. And so you shrink up your potential audience. However, be hot or cold, not lukewarm. Hans, good comment. David Lee. The sheriff is back. Dude, we must be going into a bull run if the sheriff is back. Anonymous is coming out with a coin too. That will pump like crazy. There you go. There may be the next lead for you. Chris Side Effects, good morning to you. Briz, great daily payout today. 6.75 shares per T-share. Or yeah, hex per T-share. Fantastic. That is good. Probably a lot of penalties, I'll bet. Justin Bieber isn't cool anymore. Well, the fact that he had a vaccine injury and it like his wife, young people, right? His wife had like a stroke, and then he had palsy. Like a whole half of his face was I don't know. It was a problem, and he hasn't been out in public in a long time because of all this stuff. I mean, he and his wife are probably the two most popular vax injured people on the planet. That's another topic. Crypto compassion. Hello, all. Product market fit matters. That's right. 2 works. Yeah, we could have 2 more weeks, or we could have the weight token, or we could have this or that or the other, or the PP or the whatever. And it comes and it goes, folks. It gets old fast. Pepe got friends now and apparently a wife too. Of course. Isn't there like a Doge's girlfriend? Dude, everybody wants to, and that's look at the fidget spinners. There's probably one guy's like, hey, this is kind of cool to play with. And then everyone knocked it off. There's knockoffs all the time. Marketers ruin everything, folks. Expected project names for people who sacked $100 for Pulse Chain. Expected project names from people. Not sure what that means. I'm sure there's something. Shiny rocks. There you go. Gold is shiny. That is right. It's a shiny object, but it's a story too. You can eat a little bit of it. Yeah. What is it? Monoatomic gold. They talked about, well, think about this. The Egyptians actually had some kind of liquid gold substance that had some health benefit. And then remember when Moses was up on the mountain and Aaron and all the people built a golden calf? You know what Moses said to do when they came down? And he was like, "What are you doing? I'm up on the mountain getting the 10 commandments, talking with God, and you're building a idol of a calf." He made them crush it down to powder and eat it. How about that? People eat gold. That's right. Good point. Seem to be the gold strips does absolutely nothing for food, but it helps with pinky raises. Yes, it makes you much more classy and makes things seem more expensive. Good morning, Jack Handy. Good to see you, Mr. Rock Jackie. Greetings, Pulse Party. David Lee saying Sandy is good. Briz, you knew I was a snake when you let me in. That's right. That's right. That's right, Briz. You know what it's about. But you know what? It's really nice to have contrast, and snakes are good contrast. Crypto Profeta, God bless you. Snake sold us lion chops. The snake promoted the original pump and dump. That's right, man. And sold the benefit, man. Whoo. Right? What do I say with Texan token? The benefit, right? Well, maybe we can birth a new nation. Maybe there's some benefit to you financially. Maybe. Yeah. If you eat this, you'll be like God, knowing good and evil. Academaciated. Morning, folks. But if you can do something, that doesn't mean that others can do that, is reason why God give one talent and the other three and the other five. Yeah. It was really this is Matthew 25, the parable of the talents. One was given 5, one was given 2, one was given 1. And the 2, right, one doubled it, one did something better with it. So there's these core 7 talents, and then one buried it in the sand. And he's like, "No, I'm going to take it away from you. You are not a good steward of what I gave you." Absolutely. So the question is, you've been given all kinds of gifts and benefits and value and experience and all this stuff. The question is, are you being a good steward with what you've been given? Yep. eBay and all the other online garage sales. There you go. And only so many can win, right? Yeah, I had a sock puppet too. Netflix shipped physical DVDs. Oh yeah, remember that? I remember going to Blockbuster, and then it was like, disruptive technologies, and I was like, "What? You're not going to be shipping DVDs anymore? It's going to be all online." I'll believe that when I see it. Well, here we are. Understanding crypto and how the market moved. That's the reason why Richard Hart's strategy, pulse chain, and use of deflationary structure of meme coin. Yeah, you start adding in sensible tokenomics and fundamentals, and then you've got amazing products. But it's still a story. Just because you have it in code doesn't mean anyone cares about it. This community is probably the greatest legacy of Richard Hart, and it's all of us. Briz, I want that feature to return to Netflix. Yeah, give me my physical DVDs. Crypto Heartbeat, best hair in crypto. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. I spend quite a bit of time on that. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'd love to get to 10,000 subs if you would. That'd be great. And we're just going to get into the bull run. It's going to be crazy. Meme coin is not a faulty foundation. When BTC started, is the same thing. People start giving it value. I agree and disagree. And I think I just want to delineate. I think that if we split this hair, I would say this. When you're basing something on, kind of a cultural theme, right? You're defining a market, right? So when you brand something, you're defining a market, right? So Pepe is well known in the internet world, right? The dog Doge thing was a joke. When you start choosing, how do I build these things? The foundation of this is it doesn't have staying power. Now, let's say your meme coin was coupled with really good tokenomics and you actually had a narrative beyond just buy this number, go up. Because in some respects, you're right. I mean, it is a foundation. The question is, how long is Pepe going to be cool? Right? But will there be some stragglers and holdovers and people that are really loving it? Yeah. Right? Everybody. Yes, absolutely. So to say it's faulty foundation, no, it's just a temporary one. And that's how I kind of equate to faulty. It's not going to last forever. I mean, nothing is going to last ultimately forever. But I would say that if you have something that potentially could impact your grandchildren and you don't have grandchildren yet, That's different than, hey, I wonder if Pepe is going to be around in 10 years and everyone's going to love him. No, that's what a pump and dump's built out of. The mint factory's here. Community takes the cake. There's no question about it. Crypto Heartbeat and Scott Foster Harris, 100%. There you go. I wonder how Scott Foster Harris is doing. What we need to do is start analyzing meme to understand the behavior. Well, and that's the big thing. So the behavior that I see is that what puts this stuff on the radar? It's this combination of a meme, right? Something new, timing, and liquidity. Folks, you bring in million plus in liquidity that's locked and you're on people's radar. We saw this with the Texan token. One of the big runs that we had was because one of the things, we were a new coin, we had liquidity, and we had a lot of holders, and it just popped up on people's radar and people just wanted to start trading it. And so we had a lot of people that didn't really believe the story. They were just trying to hustle the trade. That's what's happening right now with the meme coins. And guess what happens? When the big players say, I'm done with this, and they get their money from you, because that's what the people ride these things. Traders are savages. The good ones have a lot of resources and they will manipulate the heck out of you. I mean, that's why I stay away from that stuff. I know you're a man of God. Well, we all are. We're all made in his image. And so I'm just I'm one beggar helping another beggar find food. Melvin, what's going on? All factual. Good to see you. If we can turn metallurgic carbon into gold, Hillary would kill us. Yeah, she's got a corner on that one, doesn't she? But I think you have to you have to liquefy babies for that. Online tech is great and all, but you youngsters have no idea how wonderful anticipation is. Arguably better than the prize itself. I can emaciated, speaking like a man with gray hair. Man, it's not the destination, it's the journey. Hornet UK, why would you even get married today? See, another story, another lie, another thing that says, well, if we don't, guess what? It's over. That's why Elon Musk talking about, hey, population collapse. Remember when China said one child policy? Oops. Our population is going to crumble over the next 20 years. That oil is a fossil fuel scarcity mindset. There you go. Marriage is dangerous for finances. True story. I've got evidence to prove it. I can emaciate it. You know that's true. You know what I realized, fellas? What are you talking about, wallet? I don't have any wallet, right? I don't own any crypto. No, the crypto's on the blockchain. I only have keys. I do not have possession of my wallet. I just have keys, right? That's it. I don't hold any crypto. My password is what enables me to do something with it. But you don't, if possession is 9/10 of the law, folks, you don't own crypto at all. You own the keys to something that's out there on the blockchain. It's almost like it's a right. That's it. I dig the good vibes in here. Hey, thanks for being here. T Gray, the Mint Factory, preach. Get the Pepe degens and the pulse increase volume on the blockchain. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Amen. That's the truth. Embrace communities to grow adoption, encourage others to win. Boom. Couldn't have said it better myself. Never put your trust in a man, only in God. Crypto, profeta. Absolutely. Well, at least she can't get your crypto. That's right. Community is better than utility. Well, and you mix all these things together, and what do you get? You know, there's smart ways to do this. What Richard did an amazing thing with Hex. It was a real true innovation. And he's continuing to innovate where most people are just sitting back going to the beach. T Gray just saw a tweet with divorce rates by country. It's 94% in Portugal, Portuguese. Wow, I did not know that. That seems like really high. Almighty Hexagon, if people are buying Pepe now, y'all played I got some last week and been sold because I'm afraid Pulse Chain is going to just drop out of nowhere. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Roof Dog, what's going on? Davis. To be frank, people who preach hodl while never talking about taking profits should be removed from the public square for being a snake oil salesman. Yeah. And people do that. In the back end, they want you to be like, yeah, you need to hodl so I can get my money out. Yeah, absolutely. Davis is making a really good point here. Folks, depending on when you get in, when do you start getting out? I mean, paper value is paper value. But there are cycles to this, right? These 4-year cycles. Just pay attention to the timing, learn that stuff, and learn where we are in the cycle. You'll know when. Take profits. That's the key. And guess what happens? The real traders, they're taking profits right now when this thing is running up on these meme coins. And then it's just going to be like, oh, liquidity's gone. No more. And that's like, okay, bye-bye. And not that it's a rug, but it becomes a rug because you just don't have anybody that's willing to put any liquidity in because they don't everyone wants to get out, and who wants to be exit liquidity? Extravagant taste create the pushback token. There you go. Um, freedom from corrupt, collapsing administrative state. Amen. Randolph Schreiner. Yeah, that's right. That's a good name. Randolph Schneider. It sounds like a hero in a book. What is that Philippine project? I'm interested in them. It's called Ophir Crypto, and it's about the gold of Ophir, and it's from actually the Bible. And this is where Solomon got the best gold was from the Philippines. And there's many people that historically believe that the Philippines is the actual land of Ophir. Pretty cool case on that. You can look it up on the Googles. Crypto mints, PLS companies just want it so they can pocket the money they would have spent on government regulations, i.e., Encore. There you go. Tigray, India, number 1% divorce rate. You're not allowed to get out. Finn Bear, what's going on? It is good to see you back, man. Fantastic. Pepe is bad unless I use the gains to buy Texan. Well, there's a lot of things. I've been in stuff that, you know, stories, right? Everything is a story that you hear. Tank Crypto! Howdy, Heartbeat. They go to Hexaco. Where do good people go? They go to Hexaco. Dude, I had a really amazing conversation about a country that wants to tokenize. And it was crazy. And potentially this place, like, has white sandy beaches and could be Hexaco, like literally. It's a huge, like 6,000 acres. Unbelievable story. We'll see if anything comes of it, but hey, your dreams, they will come true. Checks my pulse. What's up, Matt? Afternoon Hexicans and Texans. Blue collar grunts back. Pepe almost got me last night. I turned out and just went to bed. Good. Say no to those offers. Hallelujah. Love this community. Nothing like it anywhere. What's up? Drix is in the house too. Hornet UK. We're going to see more and more disturbing stuff as we go forward. There's no question about that. But we are on the side of good, folks. We are going to watch out for each other. We're going to be in community. We're going to consider others in addition to ourselves, just like Richard has done, right? Want you not to get wrecked. If he just wanted money, he could just go away. But he doesn't. He puts in the time. And I appreciate that. Memes are just getting started. Going to be nuts in the bowl. Oh yeah, there's going to be everything shaking in your face trying to get you to buy it. I mean, look at the whole meme. Look at actually NFTs. Remember the Bored Ape Yacht Club stuff? They may still have value, but funny thing is that's a fad. NFTs as just digital art is a fad. AI killed everything, right? If you want art, good luck, right? Good luck. The NFT thing is over. It's fun. Apple bottom jeans. Got the boots with the fur. Meme coins equals bell bottom jeans. There you go. That's a really good point, David Lee. Beyond the winter is the spring. Amen to that. Bell bottoms are not long-term garments. Amen to that. I got so embarrassed when I was a kid. My mom made our clothes. My parents were hippies and they made our clothes with like patches on them and bell bottoms. All the pictures of me from like the 70s, late 70s look terrible. I'm embarrassed to even say I was in these patched up homemade jeans, but it's probably worth something now. If you want to gamble, go play on BNB Pot or Pulse Pot. Lol. Absolutely. When BNB Rumble. T Gray, thanks, Matt. Make it a great day. That's right. Let's make it a great day. Nabil Steele's back. Hey, all. Be responsible degens, not wrecked plebs. Amen. Back in my day, the boys had Pogs. I've heard Pogs. I never caught into that one, but same stuff. Look at this. She's a Muncie girl. The hula hoop. Remember that? What was that from? Anyone can get that one? Yeah. The Hudsucker proxy. She's a Muncie girl. Randolph Schreiner. Texan will come back. No worries. A smaller niche, but a big state. Hey, we're going to step out on our own. Imagine holding fishnet t-shirts in the 80s to wear it out. Yeah. Remember that stuff, right? And all that neon, it came back for a while. Yo, Frisbee. There you go. Pogs. Absolutely. Work. That's right. All on. I was close to swap beep coin for fees stopping me. Interact with chains as always. Limit orders. Set. Yeah. All right. Still have 3 Jurassic Park slammers. Look at this, man. Colloidal silver. Yeah, you know what silver does? It's actually an antiviral and an antibacterial. And people long, long ago in the pioneer days would put a silver coin in the glass of water on their bedside. One, to sterilize the water, but two, they would drink this. And of course, you see this with zinc and silver. Silver has some really, really good, and it would pick up, some in the water and would have some benefit to them. There's a lot in that with like colloidal gold and monoatomic elements and all that stuff. But yeah, once again, the creation has all the things we need. Um, if you heat gold up to a high enough temperature, it turns to white powder. You can snort it if you like. Yeah, monoatomic gold. They call that. Yeah, and so you can. I don't know if it's high heat. I mean, you can sublimate gold ultimately, but yeah, you can get it into. If you look at gold that has been used electrolysis to electrowin it, it's there's no shiny at all. It's actually like mud, like kind of a brown mud. Scott O'Shaughnessy, hey, what's going on, dude? Good to see you. All right, let's see who else is here. I always want to go through all of these things, but there's so many of them today. David Lee says this is ophircrypto.com. That's the site if you want to know more about Ophir Crypto. They're still in their donation phase, 10,000 to 1, folks. If you missed any of that stuff, you might want to check it out and realize 100% of the money goes to Gem Effect, which serves these 5,000 churches. It's amazing. So check it out, folks. John, there's right on my channel in the videos tab, you'll see the story of John and Ophir. He's the founder over there. It's pretty compelling, my friends. Godfather J6 gives you the Ophir Telegram as well. Yeah, Sodman says, what's up, Sodman? In the dot-com bubble, I was a multimillionaire on paper, didn't take profits and watched it disappear. Yeah, don't be like Sodman. That's appreciate that learning. I got to meet Drix and his mom. What's up? The only one. Yes, there's some great people. Dave Morales and a bunch of others, great people. There's nothing like meeting, folks in person, right? Sandy B, the dude, Mr. Rock Jockey, donate to the Ophir Project and get airdrops some shiny tokens. Yeah, you donate, you get a free premium of no value Ophir tokens. Folks, there's some amazing things happening over in the Philippines. We've been talking the past 3 days, and it'll blow your mind. That would be some expensive white powder. I do not think it means what you think it means. Pineapple Love is back. Welcome back, Pineapple Love. Meme coins? I miss the Pepe Pump. You didn't miss anything. You were on the right track. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. The best vision for good adoption. Hey, so let's sum it all up, folks. Everything is a story, right? You're manipulated by the words of others, and you create a future with your own words because you were created to be creative. This whole thing was spoken into existence, and you speak other things into existence. The question is, are you considering others in addition to yourself? And if you look at the pulse chain as a vertically aligned ecosystem, hey, folks, this potentially could increase our freedom and sovereignty and potentially be an alternative to the CBDCs. I think that's worth following. So don't get caught up in the craze and the fads. No, if you get lucky, you get lucky. But you know what? Even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while, and a clock is right twice a day. Take care of yourself, and do not mess with Texas. Take care, everybody.